and then I got this.
We're officially live now, so.
So, do you want me
I'm just gonna do a quick recap.
Yeah.
So this evening, we broke into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different groups to try to come up with some overarching ideas for different directions that we wanted our Arcadia equity team to kind of move in. And so each group is made up of a couple of people, and they're gonna share out what they were working on tonight, so that even though you couldn't physically be here tonight, you feel like you're included and you're still part of the Arcadia equity team. So I'm gonna have Mary Beth and Riley start, if you don't mind, with, you could just share out what your idea was and some things that you came up with.
I'll be Vanna White. How about
Okay,
that?
okay. So we had building beautification, diversity focus, and we are celebrating and representing culture and contributions around the building. So the question we started with was, how do we include world culture in our building from all around the world and all of the various backgrounds of our students? So can you turn just a little bit? So we thought about too that right now we have a lot of like pictures of students around, which is great, but a lot of those students I think have graduated, and we might be thinking about how we might revamp, what we have. And we were thinking about, in order to represent different cultures, that students could submit either original artwork or an artist from their culture, or maybe a quote with a picture of somebody from their culture, or what was the other one? Or just someone who contributed, like a contributor to technology or English or our different subjects and contents that we do, just contributing to our society in some way. So they could pick something like that and submit it, and we could start to put together some ways to basically put that around. Yeah.
Just in case you didn't know, we have an awesome, huge poster printer that's being housed in the yearbook room. So once these ideas come in, we can print them right in the house and we'll.
Excellent, because that was one of the things that we said we would need. So logistically, how are we going to do this? And also sort of, one of the questions we had would be, how can we actually logistically put them up? Whether that's tape, paint, whatever, those kinds of questions. The kind of boring stuff. But we also had this idea of we might have a theme like unity or community, and think about how there's different words from different languages. We could kind of put that up as a sort of an idea somewhere, so that to kind of show us all together. And the other thing we asked was, the big question was, how do we advertise this and get students to buy into it and actually want to do this? And so we talked about maybe visiting home bases and just talking about it and getting it out on social media, basically spreading it word of mouth from student to student. On the Twitter. and maybe starting to do that next year, starting to do it this year and start beginning to gather this year for maybe next year, just getting it going and keeping it going. And once we have submissions, we could show people, and then they could, this is the kind of stuff we have, but we don't have something from this part of the world or this part of the world or different. We want to make sure everybody's represented. And I think that's kind of where we ended up.
Do you not want to say your quotes?
No, I'm not going to say my quotes.
Do you want me to say?
No. Okay. So that's where we're at for our.
Awesome.
We were talking about movie discussion night and how it would be kind of like a good starting point to kind of get people to buy in to this team as a whole. So then we start talking about how 13th was such a powerful film in general and how it's kind of an easy way to introduce some of the bigger issues that still face our country today, because it's kind of undeniable. Some of the audio that actually goes with those policies clearly shows that they were just trying to disguise racism with policies that sounded like a strong Catholic appeal. Like, this is a good thing to do for everyone, but we're going to use it to target this group of people. So we talked about how powerful that film is in general, but that maybe this point in the year we don't have time to really put together something that would do it justice. So we kind of talked about maybe taking a more entertaining approach at first to get more student buy-in about doing like a Black Panther movie day after school. So if we showed the movie, offered popcorn and snacks, started at like 2:30, and really encouraged students to come, that this could be like a good plug for this group. That students could introduce what the group is, what they're doing, or what the goal is of this group as a whole, maybe even reading our fancy new mission statement that we'll eventually have, and then really kind of giving a plug for the group and then introducing the film itself.
And we would love if maybe one of you students wouldn't mind even introducing the movie for us. You know, you guys get tired of seeing us all the time and listening to us talk to you. So we would think that it would be great and very powerful and might get some of the younger students to be more involved if they see you guys in that leadership role. So we would do whatever we need to support you, but if some of you wouldn't mind taking that lead, we would love it, and come and talk to us at the end of the meeting.
And then we also talked about like a way to kind of introduce the academic piece to it or the commentary discussion piece to it without seeming too intimidating at first, would be to have chart paper all around the cafeteria, the auditorium, wherever we decide to host this. Either asking for feedback or asking questions about social justice in general that students could kind of answer either as they're waiting for the film to start or kind of on their way out as like a ticket out for the day.
We also talked about maybe, having, looking at doing one of these more, these deeper, I guess, movies in the fall, and maybe we could use curriculum night to help advertise that. If we could have little flyers or tickets and maybe even have a booth or something set up that night, since we have more families coming in that night, so we could use that as a way to try to draw people in. I know that's a little bit down the road, but that would be a good time.
Forward thinking.
Do you have a question?
For the fun movies, you could like look up like, not like the conspiracies around it, but like what was happening like around the time of the movie, like especially like during Black Panther, how there's a lot of like, it's not hate, but there's stuff around it that people are like, this is stupid, so like looking that up and like giving them that discussion to talk about instead of like going like, what are racial problems?
Yeah.
And you will like use the movie as like a piece.
See, that's why we need you.
So smart.
Next group?
You're up, buddy.
Do you want me to take pictures? I was just reading. I'll hold it. You know that. Come on. You did all the good writing.
Yeah, the two of us didn't come up with this all by ourselves. God.
Okay, wait, is it TV but me?
Just say
That's all right,
say
you're
hi.
fine.
So we had to work on ways to increase awareness and promote our group. And of course, YouTube streaming that Heidi thought of is first on the list. We also thought about PTSA. Even though all parents don't go to PTSA meetings, those that are members get information from them. I know I get their emails and information about it. So even though I don't go, so they have a good network that we could use.
Kind of like a public service announcement video. Claudia said that the kids should make, so it kind of promotes what the group is, again, using the mission statement that you guys are drafting. Social media, I know. No pressure, no pressure. We talked about social media and how kids get their information, on how to be in places or be at places. So, maybe use this group as at first use it as an extrinsic motivator. If some teachers offered extra credit for showing and maybe doing a summary, or maybe coming up with a flyer on how to promote it or something that's coming up. It could actually be extracurricular, cross-curricular if you wanted it to be, like art class or ELA or social studies or I don't know what you guys call it. Participation in government, because that's how old I am. Thank you, CIA now. We thought about we talked about offering parents childcare and also transportation, because we're not sure about that issue. How, like, what do parents need and reaching out to them? Do you want to talk about part of the list? No. Well, thanks for being up
But
here.
that way we talked about how do parents get information from the school, and the Connect Ed messages are one way, and report cards. So I was asking, because my kids are old, I didn't know, do they still get mailed home physical report cards?
Right now
We
they do,
could
I know, I
put
don't know how much longer.
information in there, like even if it's just a postcard or a flyer.
Invites.
Yeah,
This is like an
invite.
actual invite to something. can
Yeah.
be-
But like
Yeah.
GTA yesterday was talking about how they had postcard mailings and those were really effective. So it doesn't even have to be a full flyer, it could be just a GTA, or not a GTA, but a postcard flyer.
Yeah.
John came up with the idea of fundraising as part of our action plan. If we needed money for movies or
Yeah.
needed money for posters, we could do some fundraising. We weren't sure how that would look. Add it to the school calendar on a regular basis, like update that.
Yeah, because the school calendar, it seems like it has those yearly things that are plugged in at the beginning of the year, but none of, I don't think these kind of things are on there. So maybe if we started doing more of that, people would look at it more.
It's a great idea.
Also, sending out student emails, like, and not everyone looks at them. I know I don't check emails, but like, I know some people do, because they're like, did you get this? I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But some people do check their student emails, so being able to send it out in a student email and just being like,
That's true.
Oh, that's a good idea.
As well as parents too.
Remind
Like the parents.
Yeah.
Or the Remind app.
Yeah, oh, the remind app.
Off the
Oh,
top of your head.
yeah. See,
What was it over there?
the remind app.
Right.
So I don't know if parents are on that, but the kids are on it and they could let their parents know. And then, and the website. But I noticed the website, that front page of the website is really widgets. So I don't know, if you put it in a drop-down menu, then you lose it. So maybe the Grease website, we could advertise with Laurel and Tammy, maybe? I don't know, just a thought. All right, nice job, Jen.
What, Riley?
If you're connecting it to like childcare, if you're connecting it to childcare, you could do it with Miss like Relier in her child development class.
That's what we
That's what we
talked
talked
about,
about.
yep.
Yeah.
or maybe also, like, maybe talking to, mosaics, because they have the tab, so maybe being able to put it in their tab section.
Oh, on their webpage? Yeah, I can do that. I can put it anywhere on the high school page, it's just the front page is all widgets, there is no place to put.
Right.
Alright. Yours was a perfect lead-in, because we were just talking about that, so.
Okay, so I've had set up a system for students, and particularly parents of color, to communicate with their students, like curriculally and like socially in school. So I had first for like Miss Connaughton, like her idea was that establish like traditions and like a sense of community among the students, parents and teachers, like carnival night or like food night, to get socially just familiar with each other. And then I just kind of went from the steps like to establish like a person or like a designated person for parents to go to, like, because I know for my parents, it's like, who should I talk to get information about this? I'm like, oh, go to Miss Bennett or go to Miss So-and-so to talk about their child's social or school life and how to get more information. And for like, to get that out there, I don't know, like the technology or outlets you guys want to use, such as the emails or phone calls. I don't know if that's like a good idea, but to like get parents aware of the group and like what it's about and who they can like get more information from. And that's basically it. That's all I got.
Nice job.
That was all.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, she was all by herself over there for a while too, so that's really
Can I
impressive.
add one? I think personal invitations are really huge. Did you say that? I'm sorry.
Oh, you got 3 bullets.
But I know that when we invite our families or students and we say, hey, I really wanna see there, I hear better, I hear from more people.
But also if we do increase awareness of this group, this group could be another way to increase awareness of that opportunity.
Who's next?
Christian State still making.
You still making it? Okay, you're up, Ms. Wolf.
I want everybody to be proud of me because I'm a super big talker, but I'm gonna defer to Carmen because she's really good.
So we talked about putting this into my shirt. We talked about putting this into a cat option, so the students have a better, it's like a study hall, it's common academic time
Okay.
that we use at the end of the day, yeah.
Okay.
And so we talked about putting that in the, as an option to give the students like a more convenient time, because not everyone can stay after because they have to take the bus or they have sports or whatever.
Carmen, I'm sorry, can you say what your I don't know if you said
Oh.
what the actual topic was.
The creation of Black and or Latino student union. So an ideal goal would to have a supervisor that represented the union, but we don't really have Latino, Asian teachers, so obviously, and then it's really like let the students work on everything, not focus on the teachers helping the students, but let the students discuss and be able to feel safe. And then we talked about giving them their separate like groups and times, but also being able to let them come together, because we don't want to just separate them from each other. We want them to be able to come together and always work together. And then the group that comes together could come to like this group, or I don't know what.
Or bring their, right, like you said, bring their concerns to like the CRE group, right,
Yeah.
to us, yeah.
And then we talked about representatives being able to be the people that they go to, who would come to like the big meetings. And so we talked about like how we would get the idea out, and we talked about like doing it almost like starting it almost like a rumor thing, like letting them know that like something might happen soon about this, and letting it kind of like spread out a little bit more. And then I feel like that will be able to be a good place to like have the students be able to step up and be like, I want to do this. And if they're not, have teachers be able to be like, so you might have heard about this and we would think you would be really good for this position. And then it would be like, it would like represent a safe space for the students to be able to come. Cause like in big meetings like this, you don't want to use names, but in like, if it's like just them, they feel more safe to be able to like, this teacher said this and I found it really offensive and it wasn't appropriate, and be able to give the students the power to hold the teachers responsible for, or not even teachers, hold other people responsible for what was said or what happened. And again, like creating a mission statement for the rumor to spread with.
So, and yeah, just tying in on what you were saying, because like I said, she had a great idea. We said it would be nice to have, like you said, that supervisor who relates, realizing that's not really possible, but I said at the end of the day, all that person is, that supervisor really is just because we have to always have an adult around. You know, during CAP, I go, but in reality, if this is a student union, it's the students who are in charge. They're the ones who are there. They're truly the leaders. The adult is really just a backdrop because there has to be an adult there. And I liked her idea because, you know, I immediately was like, you guys thinking about ways to publicize. But I agree, you know, in some ways, we need to know what the group is, but that whole rumor idea, like when she said that, I was like, wow, that holds so much more weight with kids than a poster up here saying, join the Latino union.
Yeah.
You know, and that idea of like, she was saying.
Snapchat or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That would be like
saying,
part of the rumor
you
thing.
know, students have been lately, like, you know, when the hallway sweep started, she goes, every kid was complaining, but they didn't know who to talk to. Like our kids really don't even know who to go to when they have issues. So,
And then
you
it
know.
gets super chaotic.
Right, exactly. And so, and it was a really good point, you know, this is, first we gotta start the rumor this, and then, but I would love to start that rumor this spring so that maybe this could be a reality for Kat and for, you know, the fall of next year.
Can I add in? Because I think it would be powerful if we were able to find community members who are willing to step in and be representatives of your student unions.
Yeah.
Because maybe it shouldn't be necessarily the teacher, like maybe a teacher can sit in if we want or whatever, just to be part of the team, but having someone in our community that's willing to come in and actually be part of it, because I think we need to really focus on tying community in more to the building too.
Yeah, we also talked about refining the student council too, because that's there.
But at the end of the day too, I love it, I
Yeah.
totally agree with what Heidi's saying, but at the end of the day too, at the base level, it needs to be about the kids first. Like they have to be able to feel like this is their union. And when we read over kind of the meaning of what a union was, it was students bringing to other students what their concerns are, and the students deciding who they want to approach and how they want to talk to people about it. But then having community members as an option versus always having to go to a teacher or an administrator, I think is an awesome option.
Or just come in to speak or.
Right,
Yeah, just like
yeah,
be part of the group, I think that's.
Yeah, because like 300 students here, as amazing that sounds, chaotic, so.
It's great.
Thank you, good ideas.
Yeah.
Oh. All right.
So this is the mission statement.
This is what let's shift a little bit, yeah. We got our mission statement drafting. So as you can see, it's very brainstormy. We're not at all complete, but we think that's okay. And started out with goals. And so wanted to foster equity within schools, communities, and that includes the community itself includes parents, kids, educators, and admin, right? But then also support on open and welcoming atmosphere at Arcadia, which ties in with beautification. Empowering students to have a voice in every arena of the school experience, encouraging community partnerships to support the learning process, and advocating for families and students. And part of the goals thing that we realized was that all the tables that you guys have out here, this planning sessions aspect of it ties into a larger goal that we want to incorporate into the mission statement. And so we really had a lot of things laid out for us between Ms. Connerton's district stuff and the planning sessions, the titles of those, just to see how to structure this statement. And so we have a couple of drafts, but here I'll just read the draft. The Greece Arcadia High School Equity Team values and supports meaningful relationships with students and their families. As a team, we commit to fostering equity, coherence, excellence, and collaboration. So that's
And that
what we got.
comes from, so.
I love it.
So why start again, Mrs. Connerton was showing us all the things that the district has already created, right? But at the same time, we don't want to make it such a narrow focus that we don't have room to do all these things. And we can always come back and revise. I feel like this was pretty rushed. I don't know about you. I've been through mission statement building before that took like 3 years. So
it's open and flexible, yeah.
So,
Open and flexible.
so it definitely is something that we can keep changing. I think we should periodically, especially this first year that we're going, we should keep coming back to it and say, all right, does this still match? Is this still something that we can do? Can we streamline?
As a team that is growing by nature of its newness, the statement itself needs to grow at the same time. So nothing wrong with that.
Well said. Nice work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that just kind of ties into all of this work. So obviously, we only had, 20, 25 minutes to start brainstorming this stuff, and we actually also had other ideas from the last meeting that we didn't even tap into because we just wanted to start somewhere. But the idea is that we can build upon all these things that we've started to generate ideas for, and we do need people. Where are they? Where's the camera?
They're right there. They can see you right now.
We need hands on this.
We need you.
We want students on it. We want parents on it. We want people involved because
What was great tonight though too is we actually don't, like Emily Wright is here with her son and she is from an entirely different building. So she's here to support us just like we want to support her team and everybody working together. That's what community is about. So I just thank you so much for coming tonight too.
Yeah. I think it's a testament to why all these different voices have to be here. Everybody brings something. So anyway, we will continue to work on these things. And we can make some plans in terms of what our next steps are going to be and what else we need, however we need to get these things going. And yeah, so I think I guess reach out if you're watching this and you're interested, if you heard something that that you're into or you want to know more, please reach out to me or any Mrs. Connerton or anybody any of the students or anybody that you see here that worked on any of this stuff. We can all connect you to what we're working on.
And there is a Google form that is tied to the tweet that had this live stream. And that Google form, you can give responses, suggestions, ideas, send us your email so we can let you know when the next meeting is. That way you can definitely be part of the next time we get together.
All right, thank you. So, thank you everybody for all these wonderful ideas. Like I'm just like jumping on my seat.
I'm excited because we almost like doubled our size too this time. And I feel like, you know what I mean? It's growing and it's starting and it's exciting, so. Yep.
So,
Kayla, why don't you